Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's season finale of Scandal. And it was a pretty good episode. Jake kills his father in law at the first, I don't know, 3 minutes of the episode, watches him die, basically says, yeah, you know, I know that you see me as a father, but I have a man who sees me as a father, and he thinks that you would be better off dead, basically, and your inheritance would do us some good. So wow, down goes Jake's father-in-law by the hands of Jake. And we know in the end of last week's episode, he basically wanted Olivia to help get him away from her father. So this whole time, we're like, what is going on with Jake? Like, why is he doing everything that Rowan, Papa Pope, is saying and doing, but ultimately he really does want to be away from his clutches. And I thought it was a very, obviously, very powerful scene when Olivia steps up to her father after Huck basically says, you can't try to sneak Jake out. You can't go around the back. You've got to go through the front door. You've got to get him out of that house by any means necessary in front of Rowan. Like you just have to stand up to your dad. And so that scene when he does, and okay, first of all, when Rowan's like, your brother, it's like, ew, you made him go and sleep with Olivia in the beginning stages of this whole reveal of who Jake was. So can we stop with all that your brother talk? And so then when Olivia's like, he's not going to kill his son, and I was just like, this is so weird. And she grabs his hand, and then there's that moment where Rowan has the gun to Jake's head. I mean, it was a very like intense moment because, to be honest, you just didn't know if he was actually going to pull the trigger. And ultimately he doesn't, and he says, leave before I change my mind. But at the end, you realize that this is pretty much what Rowan wanted in the first place. Like, you get the sense that this is exactly what he was getting his daughter to do, and was to ultimately get Jake in the White House, because Rowan was doing it his way, trying to with the Democrat, and then that all went sideways. So then he tried to throw him on then he tried to throw him on Vargas's ticket, and that didn't work. So then Olivia comes up with the great idea, I'm going to put him on Melly's ticket. So no matter what, Rowan's plan worked. Jake is a VP and he's on somebody's ticket. So at the end, you can see that Rowan is like, that's my girl. So at the end of the day, this is basically what he wanted. So he got his way. The case of the week wasn't really a case of the week. It was sort of all about who was going to, that was really what the episode was about. Who was going to be whose VP. And there was all these names tossed around. David Rosen was an option. And then ultimately, okay, before I get to that reveal, this scene with Cyrus and Tom in the bedroom. Oh my God, it had me in stitches. I was literally laughing out loud. When he's walking around brushing his teeth in his shorts, I was like, can we stop this? And then they're like openly talking about murdering Michael, who is Cyrus's husband, and he took Ella, and he's really the one who's been raising her. And so they're talking about, oh well, we can do this, we can do that. And then the fact that Cyrus is like, listen, the fact that we can openly talk about murder is great and everything, and it's better than, me talking about changing diapers. He's like, this is the most honest relationship I've ever been in. Dying. And then when Tom suggests that he could be the one to raise her, I was like, what is happening? What bizarro universe am I in right now? So of course Cyrus pretty much has the same reaction. He's like, it's really nice and sweet of you, but thanks, but no thanks. And then at the end of the episode, he basically breaks up with Tom, and he's like, yeah, this here is donezo. You're not going to kill Michael. I'm basically going back to him. This is over. And Tom just looks devastated. He's like, what can I do? I can fix my, like, he's like, what did I do? I can fix this. Da, 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 da. And Cyrus is like, no, we're done. And why does he say we're done? Because Cyrus, dun 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 dun, drum roll please, is going to be Vargas's running mate. He has now put his hat in the ring to be vice president. And so of course, when Cyrus goes to Olivia for help, it is because Rowan went to them to try to get Jake on the ticket. So she's like, what does he have over you? And then Cyrus confesses that he's the one who set up the the hostage taking for Vargas to give him sympathy and blah, 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 blah. So then, of course, Cyrus knows that Olivia is the one who killed the ex-vice president, Andrew Nichols. Andrew Nichols? Andrew Nichols. Yeah. So he holds that over Olivia's head. So they both have these like things dangling over one another. These bombs that they can drop on each other. And Cyrus says, one of us is going to get back into the White House. Who is it going to be? And there was a really great scene when Mellie just literally rips a strip off of Fitz. And she just basically tears into him as to why she deserves to be, the vice president. And it's not because of who he is, it's the fact that she did everything to get here on her own. And that was a really powerful moment when they were both on the stage. And she's like, this isn't about you and you have to try to make everything about you, but this is about me and all of my accomplishments. And it was a really good scene. And and Fitz also finds out in this episode that Olivia had the abortion. And his reaction obviously to Abby is, he's really upset. And he basically claims that this can't be true. But then he has a conversation with Olivia in the Oval. And it's a really heartfelt conversation where he apologizes for possibly not listening to her when they were together. And she obviously can sense that something is going on, something is up. And he's like, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that if basically you thought I never listened to you. And then she gets up and he's like, and I support your choice. And she's like, thank you. And she walks out. So obviously that was a really powerful moment because, in the episode before, Olivia obviously says that she didn't regret her decision to have an abortion. And, the fact that Abby didn't reveal it to Fitz was thank God she didn't do that. And Olivia was like, this is only going to hurt him if he finds out. So that conversation, even though they really didn't say what the conversation was about, Olivia pretty much knew what it was about, and she could feel you could feel that she felt that he knew in that moment. And when he says, I miss you, and she goes, Fitz, and he goes, not like that. And I like that they're like, okay, the show has really gotten them away from each other and allowed them to just sort of be friends, where he's like, no, I miss talking to you. And it's like, yeah, let's just get back to that relationship, because the two of them as a couple, no. And when he mentions maybe, when he's done with his Oval, he can go to Vermont. He throws that out there. So it's like, that's still somewhere in the back of his mind that he wants that. You know what I mean? But that scene in the Oval, I thought was a really good, powerful scene where it wasn't like, how could you do this? How could you abort my baby? Where it's more like he understands why she made the choice she did. And I at least respected the fact that the show didn't go to him berating her over her own choice that she's allowed to make with her body, and just, go on me. It's all about me, which is one of the things that I think he's basically saying he learned from the conversation with Mellie. Fair enough. I'm sure he's devastated the fact that that Olivia didn't want to have his child, but yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, pretty solid episode. So we go into next season with Cyrus being the new VP choice. Jake who also, tries to say, hey, I don't need to be vice president anymore. I'm away from your father's clutches. Let's go run away. Let's get a house. Let's have 3 kids. And it's like, are you drunk? Are you crazy? That is not going to happen. And so he's like, oh, so now I go from being his bitch to your bitch. And Olivia's basically like, yeah. So, yeah. So we set that up. Jake is now the VP choice. David Rosen is still David Rosen, kissing whatever. That relationship is just so gross. Anyway, that hasn't changed. And then, we've got Tom, who looks super jealous of Michael, and I have a feeling he's just going to do something terrible to him. And there's this budding romance between Mellie and her little dude there, Marcus. So, nice finale. I enjoyed it. And we'll see what they do for next season. Should be interesting. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought of this season finale. It wasn't like some jaw-dropping shocker, but the top of the episode was kind of good. Although we didn't see his wife show up after the death of his father, or her father. So that was kind of weird, but who really cares? Okay, that's it for me. Leave a message, subscribe, and I'll see you when the show returns next season. Bye, guys.